So week one was so good. I wanted to like a stock market thing about players whose stock rose. Didn't do that. I was planning on doing that. Then the assets didn't come out as good. I didn't want it to be like rushed. So I just kind of went for five players I think whose stock have risen, but it's not necessarily in like a theme of a stock market thing. It's actually more of a ransom note theme. But you'll see how it goes on. But I like the graphics and I'm happy with it. But this took a while to make. And it was just players that I thought whose stock have risen through week one. They're all younger guys. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the case going forward permanently, that they all have to be younger guys. I would also like to expand this to other leagues in Europe, not just the ELF. But this is five players whose stock rose in ELF week one. Thank you for watching. The praise in the last 3 or 4 videos has been fucking phenomenal. I'm hoping that this doesn't pick up the whole sun coming into my face this time and I don't look like just a ghost in the background. Anyway, let's get into it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go. So Bias Koyunda was electric in the opening game. We knew what he was at, so he's been in the league for a while. Shout out to Tim who actually called this, because Tim said last season how good Bias was going to be. I knew who Bias was. I knew that he was going to be a tricky player, and he has an extremely tricky skill set. That's how I've defined it. Burner speed around the corners and in a straight line. He's fast, he's agile, his routes are diverse in their release and his play speed. He's experienced in the league, and I think that he could be a slot option who is really considered elite in this league. His movement is just so fluid, is how I would describe it. He's difficult to deal with. He had 74 receiving yards. He showed great hands. He did fumble the ball once, but it was more of a great defensive play. He also had that 45-yard rushing touchdown on a jet sweep, which shows how tricky and scheme flexible he could be in this league. I think going forward with Aaron Jackson and Robin Wilczek getting a lot of the attention from the defense, Bias Koyunda is going to be able to go under the radar. Just for frame of reference, he's only 126 yards off of his career high for receiving yards in the season. He's already eclipsed his debut year, and this year he's lined up to have an incredible season. Ivan Irodonov Rodriguez from the Barcelona Dragons, another player that really broke out. Only 40 yards on 7 catches, but those 2 touchdowns were absolutely huge. One of them won them the game. He looks like he could be a second option with safe hands over the middle or outside. Experience and trust with Levi Lewis is evident. You wouldn't go to him for the game-winning touchdown if you didn't trust in his ability, and that's what Levi Lewis has executed so far this season. He also has a great size profile, 6'3", 198 pounds. And projects to be a very high-level player in the league. He already has experience with Osos Rivas, has already played a whole season in Spain, so he's in prime shape. He finds open spaces in the coverages. He did that multiple times. He has good hands. He's physical. He could be a real reliable option in a team that needs a trusted number 2 receiver. I think that this game showed serious flashes of a player that we could see a lot more of in this league. And only 23 years old, sky's the limit. Anthony fucking Brown, as me and Jamal have affectionately named him. 9 catches, 194 yards. Currently leads in the league of yards. Also 2 touchdowns. Honestly, a star-making performance. It showed a variety of his skill set. Deep, short, intermediate. He has great through contact hands. He really is the fucking weapon for Carlton Aiken. And he looks like he could be one of the best receivers in the league this season. I was not aware of who he was going to be coming into this, given the Mercenaries' lateness in signing some of their players. But Anthony Brown, seriously, a star-making performance. He looked phenomenal. This is honestly one of the best debut performances we've had from a player in the league. The amount of catches he got over the middle, over the top of defenders, uncontested, or where he would create space for himself with diverse route running and a great footwork is sublime. And he looked a little reminiscent of Kyle Sweet. That might just be me reaching a little bit, but he could be on that level, and I'd seriously think highly of him coming through into week 2. A play that really shocked me, Jack Mangle, stock rose incredibly. I was low on Jack to the start of the season with the college tape and stuff like that. Didn't impress a hell of a lot, but he came out, he looked great. Team let him down a little bit on the fumbles. He didn't have a fumble, that's important to note, but 72.73% completion, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns in the day, 1 rushing, 1 passing. He was poised, didn't make poor decisions. That was my big thing coming into this was, is he going to make poor decisions? He did not. He was do or die, meaning he's going to get the yards or he's going to die trying. He was physical on the run. He made tight passes, but they weren't rushed. They weren't poor decisions. He was feeding the ball to Robitaille, which is exactly what he needed to do, and he had a good day doing it. He has speed around him with Robitaille and with Samuel and other receivers in that receiving core, and he certainly has the arm to do serious damage with the ball. I think of every player in the league so far in this first week whose stock has risen the most, it has to be Jack Mangle. No one came in with expectations he was going to be a top 5 quarterback, to be completely honest. But he showed that he could play at this level, and also on a very good Vikings defense. The fumbled snaps, not his fault, the center's fault. The fumble caused by the defense was just a great defensive play. And his offensive line isn't great. So Jack Mangle, fair fucking play. Kerry Bajarian, a player I've been hot on for a while. If you've been seeing this channel, I predicted multiple times that he can lead a team in rushing yards and potentially get 1,000 yards. I think that he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher this season. 99 yards on the ground, 4.3 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns, visions for gaps. He has great ball carry vision. He's strong between the tackles and physical. He can lower the shoulder. He can put an arm out and stiff arm a defender. He does not mind taking on 2 or 3 people if it means that he can get into the end zone. Strong red zone threat, as you can tell by the 3 touchdowns. I think that he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. I think that he's going to be a big star. He's only 25 years old. He's had multiple years of league experience. Last season, he got 1 game with over 100 yards. This year, he's an inch shy. And I think that it's going to be a very regular occurrence to see him go over 100 yards. That'll wrap us up. This one's short, sweet. Took a really long time to make the assets for it, but I wanted to keep this one short and sweet. There are other players like Hardin Canedo. He had that really big long run that facilitated a lot of his stats, so I didn't put him on it. But there are other players. Chad Jackson was another one that did it phenomenally, but the defensive stats and the receiving stats aren't available on the ELF currently. The stats are taking quite a while to come through, so I kind of had to work with either rough estimates or off of the player profiles on the website. So it's not, we've still got teething problems going into week 2, but this is going to be a great week. I already have a whole video documenting my analysis of the week, so if you haven't watched that, would appreciate if you did and left a like, subscribed. Like I said, this one's short. Just last thing for the week is going to be great. I'm going to be streaming doing a watch along for the Surge and the Rocall game, as well as probably the Fire and Galaxy game. I'm not going to do all of them again because that took a long time and it was stressful, and 6 hours is not a good time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this short but sweet episode. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you again for the support. See you later. Goodbye.